my own point of view, where we do 30-minute segments of the Bible to help better your understanding of your knowledge. I'm your reader, Brother Cam, and this your teacher, Brother Justin.
All right. Thank you, son. So so today we're looking at when the Jews truly return home, because I don't know how I got in this Facebook group, but it's pretty much like you have Hebrews, like your more radical Hebrews, and Christians trying to debunk each other. They be going in. There's a lot, but one dude he put in there, he tried to use Ezekiel 38, 8 and 16 to debunk that that we or black people are the so-called Jews, right? And when you go and read it, it doesn't make sense, right? So the question I asked him was, if those are truly the people in the land, then where's King David, and why is he not king? And he pretty much responded, "Did you know that theory has been debunked by all these different science and DNA and all that stuff?" So my response was, "How do you debunk what God says is going to happen?" And it was a whole little back and forth, and after a while, I let it go. So we're gonna look at when Israel or the Jews, when they truly return back into the land of Israel, what's going to happen? There's gonna be some key things that are, one, irrefutable, and two, like, you're going to see, and there's going to be no denial. There's not going to be any confusion of who Israel truly is. So we're going to start in Exodus chapter 1. So Exodus chapter 1. And first thing we're going to look at is, so you have those in the land right now who call themselves Jews, but Jacob had 12 children. So what happened to the other 11 tribes, right? Why is it just the Jew or the Jewish man? Or Jewish meaning something like. So Exodus 1, and let's first establish that Jacob had 12 sons. Go ahead and read verse 1.
Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah.
Right, so Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, or Judah, where you get Jew, or where you get the Jew from. And Jew it encompasses all of Israel, especially when we got into captivity. It really was derogatory to really start off, right? So Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Who else do we have?
Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin.
Go ahead.
Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher.
Go ahead.
And all the souls that came out of the loans of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already.
And then you had one of the sons that was in Egypt already, and he got a double portion. So Ephraim and Manasseh is going to cover your Joseph. So there were 12 sons, and these 12 sons go to make up the 12 tribes of Israel, and Levi being that priest tribe that didn't have an inheritance. So there's a whole history. We're not really here to get into that, but I just want to give y'all some key signs of, one, when you talk about Israel returning home, which some people say was it 1948 after World War II and the whole that Nazi stuff, but that ain't really the case. That's a whole different setup behind that. But let's go to Deuteronomy 28. So Deuteronomy 28. Oh, good. I'm sorry. Read verse 6.
And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation.
Right, so all that generation died, but they still have seed and children that remain. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28. So Deuteronomy chapter 28. And with this chapter, this is how you're going to identify the curses that were placed upon God's people. And when you look at the people in the land today, they don't fit the bill. They do not fit the curses. And what we're going to look at is how the children of Israel, or the Jew, how they got scattered. And the fact that they were scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. So Deuteronomy 28, and let's read verse 3. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 3. Because the Lord's going to go through blessings and cursings. What's going to happen if his people were obedient? What's going to happen if they are disobedient? So we're going to start with the obedience piece first, just a few things. Go ahead with verse 3.
Blessed shall thou be in the city, and blessed shall thou be in the field.
So the Lord is saying you're going to be blessed in the city, blessed in the field, or no matter where you're going to go, the Lord is going to be giving blessing. So to take it to our time, doesn't matter if you go to New York, New Jersey, if you in backwood, Mississippi somewhere, the Lord's going to make sure that you are okay and straight and well sustained. What else did he say?
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body,
Mm-hmm.
and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
What else?
Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store.
So the Lord is saying, blessed be the fruit of thy body or your children, the fruit of thy ground, so your crops and all that, and the basket in thy store. So the Lord was looking to whatever you put your hand to, he was looking to bless. But that came with obedience. Skip down to verse 15, because now he's going to get into if you disobey and what are some of the curses, and ultimately what's going to be the ultimate thing to look for. Verse 15.
Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in.
15.
Oh. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So if you don't hearken to the voice of the Lord that God this day, all these curses are going to come upon thee and overtake thee. In other words, you're not going to outrun these curses. You ain't going to outperform these curses. You're not going to wish away and build away these generational things. The Lord is the one who's going to be dealing with you on this level. Now, let's look at some curses. Read verse 25.
The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee these 7 ways before them.
What else?
It shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
So he says your enemies will attack you in short number. You're going to flee out against your enemies. And then you're going to be scattered or removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. That did not happen to the quote-unquote Jewish man. We know about the Nazi and the concentration camps, but that's really about as far as it goes. And even then, we're going to get to that, but they were not removed, and we're going to look at the method of transportation throughout the entirety of the world. That didn't happen. Skip down to verse 28 and read that.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
What else?
And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
And so the Lord said he's going to smite thee with madness and blindness of heart, and thou shalt grope in noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. Searching for answers, like, why is this happening? What's going on? We got to find solutions and plans and all these different things. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. What else is going to happen?
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled even evermore. And no man shall save thee.
Spoiled, oppressed evermore. So when you look at the people that God has chosen, they're going to be oppressed and spoiled. Or in other words, taken advantage of, systemically oppressed or laid down and whatnot. And then no man's going to save you, right? Or spoil. People are going to be taken from you. Now ask yourself, does that apply to the Jewish man? It does not. Skip down to verse 32 and read that.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail longing for them all the day long.
That's right.
And there shall be no might in thy hand.
So what happened in slavery when they took your children? You had no power to stop it. If you did decide you're going to rise up, it could turn into something happening to your whites, them killing you. We've seen many depictions of that take place. Again, when did that happen to the quote-unquote Jewish man? Skip down to verse 48 and read that.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness, and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. Now,
is the Jewish man in want and need of all things? No, they have a reputation of having money out the pockets, bukus of money, as they say. And it's and how you oppressed and continually being in need and poverty and things like that, when you own all the major media streams, the Federal Reserve, all these things that relate to money. That don't apply to the Jewish man, but it does apply to this quote-unquote black man, though. But skip down to verse 68, and let's see. What is the ultimate method in which the Lord's children were scattered across the world? What does it say in verse 68?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way thereof, By the way whereof I spake unto thee,
Go ahead.
thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So Egypt being the first captivity of Israel, the Lord is saying, I'm going to bring you to Egypt again, or captivity again, with ships. And once you go on these ships, you're not going to see home again, and you're going to be sold for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man's going to buy or redeem you out of this captivity. And everybody knows what nation of people has been shipped on boats across the transatlantic and all these different things, because we got books, we got movies, we got historical plays and all these different things that happen to one nation of people, and it never happened to the Jewish man, even though this chapter talks about these curses are going to be on you for a sign, right? So the signs got to line up with the signs got to align. Let's go to Revelation 2 and 9. So Revelation 2 and 9. Keep in mind, this is written way before any of us got here, way before the quote-unquote African-American man started calling himself the Jew or an Israelite. So you have people who are perpetrating, or they have committed the biggest identity fraud ever in stealing our identity. So Revelation 2 and verse 9, what did it say?
I know thy works in tribulation and poverty.
But the Jewish man isn't impoverished. They have money. Again, when you own all major media streams and stuff like that, like, you have bread. In fact, Cedric Entertainer years ago was like, I wanted to start this comedy club or something, whatever it was, and he's like, we needed money, so we had to go find a Jewish man. So think about that. Go ahead.
But thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
So the Lord is saying, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not. They're the synagogue of Satan, and it's a whole conspiracy to put the fake Jew in office, quote unquote, and make sure that the name of Israel is remembered no more. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 11. And let's see, so when Israel is truly when Israel is truly back inside of the land of Israel, let's see some things that had to happen. And then you ask yourself, has this happened? Can we turn on a documentary and find this anywhere? Have you seen it with your own eyes, right? So Isaiah chapter 11, let's read verse 4. Isaiah 11 and verse 4. Go ahead. It's talking about the return of the Lord. And when the Lord is on this earth, what's going to take place? So go ahead and read verse 6. Oh, read verse 4. I'm sorry, verse 4. Go ahead.
But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked.
Go ahead.
And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together. Fatling. Together, and a little child shall lead.
So we're talking about the return of the Lord, and the Lord coming back in wrath and vengeance and tearing this world apart, and the sky cracking open, which has not happened yet. But then we get into the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and then a little child shall lead them. So when is this taking place? Because you put a child in front of a bear, they ain't about to go well in most situations. Right? So we're talking about peace with animals and man back as it was in the Garden of Eden. And this is upon the Lord's return. And you might say, well, why this is important? It doesn't bear any importance. Trust me, it does. In verse 7 it says, and the cow and the bear shall feed, and their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. So it's saying peace all across the board. Now skip down to verse 10, because it's going to be the same time frame that the lion is going to dwell with the ox, so on and so forth. What's going to happen in that same time frame?
And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people.
Mm-hmm.
To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
So now, if the Lord, so first and foremost, the Lord is going to be the one that's going to literally be gathering the children of Israel across the four winds. We'll get to that later. But if we're saying that happened in 1948, I should be able to take any of my children and put them in a room full of poisonous snakes, and they should come out unscathed. Which we know that's not going to happen. I should be able to I should be able to ride a lion through the streets, and it'll all be okay for me and everybody. But we know that's not the case if the children of Israel were truly back in the land. Go ahead and keep reading. In his hand the second time to recover the remnant of his people which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. So the Lord is going to be gathering his children from all across the world, where they've been scattered by boats, like we read in Deuteronomy 28, verse 12.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations,
Mm-hmm.
and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
So check that out. He gonna set up an ensign, or it's like a sign, or in other words, we know that God is here, and we know that these are the people. There's no confusion who the Lord's chosen is going to be, because again, the Lord's going to be on the earth. That has not happened yet. We're gonna get into it. Go ahead and keep reading, verse 13.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off.
So the envy of Ephraim shall depart. So the tribes ain't going to be fighting amongst each other anymore. And the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. So if the adversaries of Judah are going to be cut off, why are they bombing and fighting over the land right now if the adversaries are cut off, if the true people are back inside the land? Come on now, go ahead.
Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
That's right.
But
we're good there, because it goes into how the Lord is going to open up the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and people are going to walk into the land like that, which also hasn't happened either. But let's go to Jeremiah 30, because we don't have a lot of time. So Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah chapter 30. So the first thing we established is this is going to be when the children of Israel are truly back in the land, there's going to be peace. Again, even with the carnivorous animals, they're not going to be carnivorous anymore. And the Lord's going to gather his people from all across the four corners of the earth. He's going to set up an ensign, and the adversaries of Judah are no longer going to bother the land, which that's not happening right now. So somebody's lying, and we know it's not the Lord. So Jeremiah 30 and verse 4. Jeremiah 30 and verse 4. Go ahead and read that, because it's going to be another time on the earth.
And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace.
Go ahead.
Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with a child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces turn into paleness.
So why am I seeing these men like fighting for their lives, stressed out, strained, pressed to the max? Because he's going to get into the worst time that's ever going to come across man. It's so bad a time, it's going to be death, murder, destruction, all over the place. So also we know it as Jacob's trouble, or Israel's going to be caned for before it's all said and done. Verse 7.
Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble.
Go ahead.
But he shall be saved out of it.
So it's also known as the Great Tribulation, also known as Jacob's trouble. But what else? Verse 8.
For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds. And strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
So notice how the Lord is saying, I'm going to break the bonds, or his people, they're not going to be in captivity, and people aren't going to be taking advantage of them anymore. Who's taking advantage of the Jewish man right now? Nobody. If anything, they're taking advantage of us for sure, and whoever else. So another aspect of it is the Jew has to be someone who, again, is oppressed and being taken advantage of, and who the Lord has to come back and save truly after he gathers them. If the Lord has to gather them from all over, then how are they in the land already? Go ahead.
But they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king.
Whoa, wait a second. Is King David, I'm talking about the King David, Solomon's daddy, is he over in Jerusalem right now, reigning? Is he king? Who king? What is it? Prime Minister, I don't know his name, but he's not King David. So if King David is not currently ruling over Israel, the same King David we read about in the Bible, then Israel's not back home. But they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. 10.
Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy city from the land of their captivity.
Go ahead.
And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid.
So Jacob gonna be at rest. Is Israel at rest right now? No, every time you turn on the news, there is some war or rumors of war or a place being bombed or whatever. So it's anything but peace. But but they said that was going to be the case when Israel's back in the land. There's going to be peace. So again, you have to take the Bible for what it's saying, and you can't debunk what God said out His own mouth was going to happen. Go ahead, bro.
For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous.
No, verse 11. I'm sorry.
For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet I will not make a full end of thee.
Go ahead.
But I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
Very good. Let's go to Ezekiel 37. So now we established that when Israel is truly back in the land, King David is going to be king over Israel, which we know that's not to be the case. So Ezekiel 37, and we're going to start at verse 16. So Ezekiel 37 and verse 16.
Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it, for Judah and for the children of Israel his companions. And take another stick and write upon it, for Joseph the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thy hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not shew us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and will put them with him.
So now what he's getting at is, so the Lord is talking about how Israel ain't going to be divided as they are now. And that's why we looked at there being 12 tribes instead of just being one. And they're going to join them. He took the sticks and joined them together. So they're going to be one unified back in the land, moving under God and one banner, right? So where we at? Verse what? 19. Say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel with his fellows, and will put them with them, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. Skip down to verse 23.
Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their
detestable
things.
So Israel ain't gonna defile themselves anymore with their idols or detestable things, but aren't they doing pride parades in the Holy Land right now? Isn't there bombing and destruction and lawlessness all over the place? So that also hasn't happened, but go ahead.
Nor with any of their transgression, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God.
What else gonna happen?
And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd.
And David my king shall be over them, and they shall all have one shepherd. So again, David being king over them having one shepherd, and they prime minister, whatever his name is, I don't know his name, but again, so King David is going to be in rulership and leadership. What else going to happen?
They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them.
Verse 26.
Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore.
So did the Lord set his sanctuary in the midst of Israel right now? Like, can we all go over to Jerusalem and just go talk to the Lord because his sanctuary is in the middle of that? Not at all. So if we ain't got King David, we don't have the ensign, we don't have the Lord's tabernacle in the midst of Jerusalem, the Jews are not back in the land yet. Go ahead. My tabernacle
also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Go ahead.
And the heathen shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, and my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore.
That's right. So now there's no debate, no argument. Everyone knows who the people are, who God is, and where the Holy Land is going to be at, right? Let's go to Matthew 24. So Matthew 24, and let's look at another thing. Because we mentioned it earlier with Jacob's trouble, but let's see what's going to happen first. Because we got David back, and if David back, that means Jesus has to be back as well. So Matthew 24, and pick it up at verse 15 and 16.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
So notice how the Lord, he even referred you back to the Old Testament. Go read the book of Daniel. Then what?
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
So getting into now the mindset of great tribulation. You don't have time to be playing around. So he's telling them, when you see the abomination, who we know to be of desolation, who we know to be the Pope, which Pope, we don't know, stand in Jerusalem, great tribulation is getting ready to kick off. You got to get ready to flee. Skip down to verse 27 and read that. Because he's going to go into some stuff that's going to take place in the midst of all that, about fleeing and all that. But pick it up at verse 27. Because this is going to be a notable sign. There ain't going to be no, what is that? We're confused. He's telling them if someone says God here in the secret place, don't go. Because it's going to be a worldwide phenomenon. People are going to know the Lord is going to step foot back on the earth. Verse 27.
For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For whosoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days.
So notice that after the great tribulation, that is when the Lord is going to make his return. So if the Jew has been gathered back into the land, have we had great tribulation already? No, because no one had to take a mark, and no, you can go buy and sell right now. So tribulation hasn't happened. The Lord hasn't cracked the sky open. There's been no easily notable sign the Lord has made his return back on the earth. Go ahead.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Go ahead.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
So notice when this happening, though, this is after great tribulation and the return upon the Lord. So if we somehow miss King David, then we shouldn't miss Jesus. So is Jesus back on the earth with his tabernacle, like I said, was going to happen in Jerusalem? Not at all. So again, just another instance showing you that the children of Israel have not made their way back into the land yet. Let's go to Isaiah 34. Isaiah chapter 34. Isaiah chapter 34. And let's read verse 4. Isaiah 34 and verse 4. Or better yet, we'll skip Isaiah. Go to Isaiah 66. Because that talks about the Lord coming back and settling the controversy that's in Zion. But if the land is inhabited by those who own it, allegedly, then there should be no controversy. That's easy. So Isaiah 66, and let's read verse 20. Isaiah 66 and verse 20, it talks about the Lord coming back in flame and fire, and then him again setting the ensign up to all these different nations. And what are these nations going to do? And notice the time frame. The Lord is back on the earth already. Go ahead.
And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto the Lord out of all nations upon horses, and in chariots, and in litters, and upon mules, and upon swift beasts, to my holy mountain Jerusalem, saith the Lord. As the children of Israel bring offering in a clean vessel into the house of the Lord.
So you're going to have nations, everyone going to be bringing up Israelites from across the world. Has that happened to the Jewish man? No, it hasn't. What else?
And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, saith the Lord.
So do we have Levite back on the scene now? That hasn't happened either. So he gonna take also of Levite, but they call themselves Jewish or Israelis. Where Levi at? All right. So Revelation 3 and verse 8 and 9. Revelation 3 and verse 8 and 9. And hopefully this helps someone boil it down, right? So it says, I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door. No man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come to worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So hopefully that helps someone out with who's truly in the land and when the true Israelites return. Hope you got some understanding in Jesus.